accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. And by Mike Shaw Subaru. Always our lowest price in sales and service guaranteed.
What a way to spend a Friday night, kick off the weekend, come down to the ballpark. Rockies and Braves finishing up the weekend before All-Star break. And it's a Friday, so don't forget tonight on Rockies Real Time, Rockies outfielder Brandon Barnes takes you to the tattoo shop to talk about his love for his family, his faith, and the art on his body. Also, hear from his teammates about the energy that only Brandon can bring on and off the field. That's Rockies Real Time coming up tonight after the game. There's a look at Carlos Gonzalez. He's been hot as of late. Another 3-hit game for him last night. All 3 hits were doubles. That's a career high for Carlos Gonzalez. Let's get to our Subaru keys to the game, brought to you by Flatiron Subaru. What do you guys have for tonight?
Of course, it's going to come down to pitching for me. And when you have a guy that's getting called up for a spot start and you bring Aaron Laffey to follow him up, to me it's get some outs, get some innings, really give the bullpen a chance to breathe. And let's see what this guy has, right?
Yeah, and I'll take the offense. Nolan and Cargo drive the offense. They've each had 6 hits in the last 2 games. They need to keep it rolling in that 3-4 spot, provide a lot of the power and the punch for the team.
Well, this is a team that had 16 hits last night in the rain, in the terrible conditions. What do you think they're going to do with the sun out finally? We talked to several guys today as they came out of the clubhouse. They're looking up going, what is that? Where are we? Is this Denver?
It is Denver, and it's going to be really nice tonight. But Corey Sullivan, are you going to be here for postgame to hang out with us?
I was going to, but I'm going to watch the
do you have better
fireworks
things
from
to
home.
do? Oh, you have a date tonight.
Yes, I have a date tonight.
Okay, we'll let you off. It is fireworks night here. That should be fun, celebrating the 4th of July late. Any day is Independence Day, but as we know, fireworks always better with the Rockies win. With the Rockies win!
Oh, yeah.
Or when Corey leaves, whichever one. Bye, Corey. Scully and I will see you after the game. Coming up next, Drew and Jeff dive into Carlos Gonzalez. His bat has been red hot here at Coors Field. here at Coors Field. No better way to kick off your weekend than with the Rockies and the Braves. Rockies took game 1 of the series last night, but they had to do it after another long night, more rain delays, and that means their pitching staff has been taxed. For more on the moves and who's pitching tonight, we send it to Drew Goodman and Jeff Houston.
Jenny, thank you very much. There's no rain out there. It's awesome. It's beautiful.
You can't say the R word.
That's right. Forgive me. Forgive me.
If it happens, it's your fault.
It'll be, yes, blamed for a lot of things. Rockies had to make, as Jenny alluded to, a number of moves today, and a young man by the name of Gonzalez Herman will actually take the baseball initially. Probably going to see Aaron Laffey as well.
And 2 guys that were just called up today because of what happened in last night's game, having to use so many relievers. So you call those 2 guys up. Unfortunately, some things had to happen on the back end. Scott Oberg, he was optioned to AAA. David Hale, this is really not much of a surprise, placed on the 15-day DL because of his groin. And then Tyler Anderson, that's more of a procedural move to be able to pick Herman up and put him on the roster. He'll go out there tonight. Hopefully he'll give you 3 innings, maybe 40 to 45 pitches.
And then probably the veteran Aaron Laffey, as we mentioned a moment ago. Well, Carlos Gonzalez last night hit 3 cargo balls, 3 rockets, 1 to right, 2 to left, 3 doubles in the baseball game. And I think Walt said it after the ball game, and I would agree with him. Probably the 3 of the hardest hit balls he's hit all year. There have been a few others, but obviously in one game, probably his best night.
Consistency. That's really what's eluded Cargo this year. You think about early in this year, what was happening to him. Really didn't have his legs underneath him after that offseason leg surgery. We saw it a few games ago with Albert Pujols, how it affected his power. It's come back now. And I think the same thing for Cargo is starting to happen. But he's starting to hit the ball the other way. This was a home run a few days back down in Arizona where he takes the ball the other way. 2 nights ago, he's just drilling the ball to right field, but not to be outdone was the 2 doubles last night to left field. This is telling me that he is starting to let all those things that he was thinking about, all the mechanics that is now starting to be ingrained in him again, what he can do and how he can do it.
Well, we all know when he gets hot, he can carry a club on his back for a week or 10 days, and he certainly showed signs of that last night. A 5-3 victory for the Rockies. They'll look to make it 2 straight against Atlanta. It's fireworks night. Big crowd at Coors Field. It's the Rockies and the Braves. Come on back to 20th and Blake with us. It is a gorgeous early evening on July the 10th, 2015. Rockies getting ready for the Atlanta Braves game 2 of this 4-game set. And we're starting a little earlier tonight with fireworks planned for after the ball game. Leading things off will be Jace Peterson for the Atlanta Braves. He was in the leadoff spot yesterday for Freddie Gonzalez. And here's the rest of Freddie's lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Red hot Cameron Maybin. He's hitting every game in the month of July. He'll bat second. Nick Markakis, Kelly Johnson, Chris Johnson, A.J. Pierzynski, Johnny Gomes, dangerous bat, batting seventh. Andrelton Simmons, and then Shelby Miller. And the first pitch of the ball game is in there. Strike one from the newest Rocky, Gonzalez Herman, who was claimed off waivers last week from the Chicago Cubs. He's a bullpen guy, folks. He is not a starter, and that's why Jeff said the Rockies hope to get 40-45 pitches out of him. You know, I think in a wonderful scenario he goes 3 innings, and then in all likelihood it would be Aaron Laffey behind him.
Yeah, because he hasn't been out on a hill for a while. July 2nd was the last time for him, and that was down at AAA Iowa at Round Rock when they were playing the Round Rock Express. The last time in the big leagues was May 4th at St. Louis.
Pretty good arm, 92 to 95, and that's a loop to left for a base hit. He's got a very fine changeup also, we've been told.
It's kind of a fact-finding mission when you claim a guy off waivers just on July 7th. You're trying to figure out, and obviously the scouts in the front office of the Rockies think highly of this young man. His 60 appearances, 1-2 record, all those records, 1-2, that's in his career. That was when he was with the Mets, because he's kind of bounced around just from different organizations, but not because he's done anything wrong. It's just people have claimed him because they're trying to sneak him through waivers. Other clubs said, no, I'm not going to do that with the arm. Well,
this could be 2. There's one, and there's Calso to first, double play. Nicely turned by the combination of DJ LeMahieu and Daniel Descalso. Descalso giving Troy the evening off. Here's the Rockies defensively. Barnes, Blackman, and Cargo in the outfield. Nolan's at third naturally, and as I mentioned, Descalso giving Troy the evening off. Walden said before the game it was going to either be tonight or tomorrow afternoon for Troy, so it'll be tonight, and he'll be in the lineup tomorrow. DJ and Ben Paulson on the right side, and Nick Hundley is behind the plate. There's Descalso.
That's one way to help your pitcher out, too. It's just 4 pitches in, he's got 2 outs.
He may throw a complete game at this rate. Nick Markakis takes a strike. Always a very patient hitter.
No sign of nerves from Herman. So what? I'm going to come in here and I'm going to attack the strike zone.
And that's in there for a strike also, 0-2. And then fastball at 94.
With movement.
It's a good looking arm, and why not?
Well, that's
if it's sitting out there, why not take a flyer on him? And
that's what I was saying. That's why he's been claimed so many times.
This is on the ground to Paulson. He'll run to the bag, and a very fine first inning for Gonzalez Herman. 7 pitches. Well done. This year, Shelby Miller in his first season with the Atlanta Braves after coming over from the St. Louis Cardinals. Charlie Blackmon will lead things off for Colorado. And the Southwest batting order for Walt Weiss will feature DJ LeMahieu back in the 2 spot. He was hitting 6th last night. Nolan will bat 3rd, Cargo 4th, Ben Paulson 5th, Nick Hundley, Daniel Descalso, Brandon Barnes. And the Rockies facing a guy that has had their number in the past. Shelby Miller 2-0 at 2.04 ERA and 3 career starts against the Rockies. All of those naturally with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, and beat him last September on the 13th in a 5-4 victory. And for Shelby Miller, he's got a live fastball, much like what we just saw in the last half inning at 94 miles an hour. And then he'll also cut it. That'll be about 87. Really just look for those 2 pitches most of the night, and we'll throw an occasional curveball, but he just comes right after you. You have to make the adjustments on him and expect the fastball.
He's a Texas kid from Brownwood, Texas. And when he faced the Rockies and they saw him for the first time, he threw that 1-hitter. 1-hit shutout in May of 2013, struck out 13 in a performance that was almost as dominant as the no-hitter thrown last year by Clayton Kershaw against the Rockies.
He just pretty much mowed him down. Just remember that game. It was just, here it is, try to hit it if you can, and he was getting some ground balls and some strikeouts, but it was dominating. Flashback to that game. 1-hit shutout, 13 bunch outs. You see the movement on that ball. It just takes off at the last 4 or 5 feet. Not afraid to pitch inside. Too many pitchers now just work on that middle to outer half of the plate.
And he blows up the bat of Charlie Blackmon on a roller to second. Let's take a look at the Atlanta Braves defensively. Johnny Gomes is in left, Cameron Maybin in center, Nick Markakis in right. Chris Johnson back to his natural position of 3rd. Kelly Johnson, more of a second baseman. He's playing first tonight. Simmons and Peterson up the middle. And pretty strong there. And A.J. Krzyzewski once again has the gear on. 1 out, that'll bring up DJ. LeMahieu's got the average to 306. Last night he went 2 for 4.
After snapping that 0 for 16 streak that he ran into, he's 10 for his last 21. And doing it in typical DJ fashion. A lot of hits to right field. Not only do you have the 94-mile-an-hour fastball, you also have the shadows to deal with. You have the pitcher in the sunlight, hitter in the shadows. I mean, for a hitter standing in the box, this is kind of the way you would like it. And I only meaning that you'd rather have the pitcher in the sunlight than you in the sunlight, he in the shadows. I mean, neither way is good, but this is a slightly better. I say that because you can see the spin, and you hope to be able to see the spin out of the hand. Sometimes you don't see it until about halfway there, but then by that time it's gone into the shadows and you can't pick up changeups.
Yeah, that's why it's a rough time. 6-10 starts. 3-1 on LeMahieu. Nolan's hitting behind him. Cameron Maybin a heavy shade toward right center field. And it doesn't matter. There's a base hit to right. He is something else.
And another one.
And another one. The beat goes on for LeMahieu.
Sure, Shelby Miller was thinking, well, to try to go inside to him. He didn't. That's right over the heart of the plate, right off the bat. Excuse me, I'll clear that off there and we'll get to it. But DJ staying inside of the baseball so well.
DJ's interesting, Jeff, because he gets through the baseball, but his weight isn't distributed forward. He falls back.
He's still staying behind the barrel. Most guys, when they do that, as you're saying, that as the barrel starts to come through, your hips will start to slide with you, and you'll start to just kind of fall forward. But he doesn't. He still hits, but then his momentum starts to take him back. So everything's generated still through the barrel of the bat.
Nolan rips this toward the gap in left center field. All the way to the wall. LeMahieu will get a green light from Stu Cole. It'll be a run-scoring double for Nolan Arenado. One All-Star taking advantage of another All-Star.
Well, Nolan had come into the game tied for first with 68 RBIs. Now make that 69 in his 21st double. 2 pitches and then 2 absolute ropes. Now Nolan does it a little different than DJ. He'll get that foot down and then the bat comes through and he'll take the weight off the back leg. DJ doesn't do that, but the same results. They still hit the ball hard.
And here's Cargo, speaking of hitting it hard. Boy, did he ever last night. 3 doubles. And got an off-speed pitch.
I don't blame Shelby Miller. Throwing a first pitch off-speed pitch. And after the base hit to right and the double to left center. That better mix it up.
Yep. And again, Atlanta does not shift a lot. They're pretty straight up with Cargo at the plate. That was a mid-90s fastball from Shelby Miller, who would regularly touch 97 when he was a high school senior. He signed with Texas A&M, but Cardinals drafted him in the first round and he signed. Stayed off the high fastball, and it's 1-2. The Rockies won last night 5-3, but they had 16 hits. Usually you think you'd have more runs with 16 hits. Left a lot of guys on the last 2 days. That 3-2 loss to the Angels the other day. Remember, they had 13 hits, so 29 hits their last 2 days. 2 quick ones here in the first. And Cargo strikes out on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball from Miller. So they're 2 outs, and that'll bring up Ben Paulson.
Elevated fastball from Shelby Miller. Right out of the hand on the Subaru Supermo. That's just a straight 4-seam fastball. There was nothing tricky about it. It's here's my heat. See if you can hit it. And that's a tough pitch to get on top of.
I don't think there's a player who's ever lived that didn't have a hole right where that ball rod up and in with velocity. I remember Barry Bonds used to say the scouting report on him is the only place he had a hole, and it was small, was up and in. It's hard to stay off that pitch.
It is, but it was about the size of a pinhole.
Yeah.
It wasn't very big.
Paulson hits this on the ground to Simmons, and that'll end the inning. But the Rockies get a run. Base hit by LeMahieu, double by Nolan Arenado, who leads baseball with 69 ribbies. 1-0 Rockies.
Doubles in All-Star. DJ LeMahieu and the Rockies have a 1-0 lead as we go top 2. It is a Fan Friday. Use the hashtag Fan Friday. You can tweet us. You can use Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want, and send us your thoughts, comments, and photos about the All-Star game. We're going to celebrate the All-Star game with it coming up in Cincinnati on Tuesday. I got my National League DJ LeMahieu jersey today. Bought it at the Diamond Dry Goods store here at Coors Field, and I got to show it off to DJ LeMahieu. It's one of the perks of the job, but a cool thing. DJ, great guy and a great player. Better guy than he is a player, but he's in the All-Star game. If you have a Rockies All-Star memory, maybe something here at Coors Field, Rockies playing in the All-Star game, or just an All-Star memory or something about Nolan and DJ, hit us up. Again, use the hashtag Fan Friday, and we'll put it up here on the TV tonight.
Hey,
True,
Mark,
Jeff? Yeah.
Mark, real quick, what did DJ think about you wearing his jersey?
You know, DJ is, he thought it was cool, but he's quiet. You know, he was like, oh, hey, look at that. Ben Paulson thought it was awesome, of course. And he was like, yeah, they got the pillbox cap on there. I heard they're going to be wearing those. DJ was like, oh, that's nice.
Typical DJ.
You know what, right. That's downright giddy then for DJ.
You know, quick, I said hello to Roger McDowell, and, you know, former Met and the pitching coach for the Braves, and he saw my jersey and he said, will you tell that guy that I love the way he plays the game because he plays it right? So I got to tell DJ that that's what Roger McDowell wanted me to tell him. We all know that.
And that's and you know what? That's why he's an all-star, because all his peers, the players and the coaches who watch the game every night, they're huge fans.
Roger's been in the game a long time too. Been a pitching coach, but he was a really great pitcher prior to that.
And he was a guy, there's strike 3, he was a guy that induced a great number of ground balls. So he hunts down good fielders in the infield. Says, I like you.
I like those guys.
Yeah.
But I like this pitch too. From Herman. Change up grip. See how he's going to turn that wrist and pronate it as he throws it. Come out the middle 2 fingers. And that's how you get that sideways kind of sink motion.
Now listen, some of these guys you're saying, well, they're just not familiar with him. A lot of these guys have seen Herman because he made 54 appearances with the Mets. The Mets and the Braves play in the same division. And that was 2013, 2014.
That was a dandy pitch.
Yeah.
And that's the scouting report on him. That changeup is kind of a Bugs Bunny type of changeup.
Ball and a strike on Chris Johnson. And this is in the air to right center field. Cargo going back, making the catch. A couple steps in front of the wall. 14, now 15 pitches. And there are 2 outs in the second inning as A.J. Pierzynski will come up. You never know, Huey. I've always felt this with relievers. I mean, there's some guys a year in and year out, boy, they're nails. Craig Kimbrell was a guy that would fall in that category, the former Brave, now with the San Diego Padres. But a lot of relievers, good one year, so-so the next. They come back, they're good the following year. Sometimes it takes numerous stops before they quote-unquote arrive. That was a nice, it's not even a gamble, but a nice move to pick up a young man like Gonzalez Herman. And you don't know what happens with it, but you got a guy who throws in the mid-90s with a plus changeup. It's pretty good.
And if you think he's going to be a reliever, that's all he needs is those 2 pitches. Now, he will throw an occasional slider, too. But if he has 2 pitches and you're thinking he's a 1-inning guy, take a flyer on him. It's not going to cost you anything.
And the 1-1's popped up. Arenado's going to grab it. How about this? 6 up, 6 set down. There was a single, but it was erased by a double play. He's thrown 18 pitches in 2 innings. On Root Sports is brought to you by your hometown Toyota stores. Let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Rockies got a run off Shelby Miller in the first, single by LeMahieu, double by Nolan Arenado. Nick Hundley will be first here in the second inning, followed by Daniel Descalso and Brandon Barnes. Shelby Miller's an all-star. He's 5-4. And you say, wait a second, that's not a real impressive record. Well, he has the third lowest ERA in baseball at 2.07. He has only one victory in his last 11 starts. And again, you say, well, come on, man, what's going on? They just don't score for him. He has a 2.29 ERA over his last 11. He hasn't won in those last 9. They literally never score when he's on the mound.
How about this? Just 5 total runs in his last 8 starts. I mean, that's what you're talking about. 0-3. But he's doing his job.
Yeah, by the numbers, he should have 11 or 12 wins right now.
And that's why he's being recognized as an all-star.
Fly ball to Markakis in right. One gone.
And here are the numbers we were talking about. It is tough luck for Shelby Miller, and he's gone 6+ innings in 5 of those starts. Yet the team is just 1-7.
You're talking about a guy who's had elite numbers this year. A club that's 42-44. And yet they've lost 7 of his last 8 starts. Just think if they were scoring a little bit when their ace was on the hill, they'd be above 500.
And he's still only 24. And for Shelby Miller in 2013, he finished 3rd in the Rookie of the Year voting. That was the year that Fernandez won it down in Miami. Yasiel Puig came in 2nd.
Guys with poor run support. The Phillies are struggling, and that's why 2 guys who pitch very well for them, Hamels and Harang, don't have as much to show for it as they should. It always seems like it's big names too, right? It's not obscure names on the list.
Figure, oh, he's going to go out and do his, so we just need 1 run. Well, you end up coming back and you're shut out. Something named John Leschon. Did you see the other day in his start that he got his first big league hit?
After
66 without the postseason.
Probably he'll get an opportunity to pinch hit at some point.
No.
For Joe Madden.
Has about the right pitcher's body, 6'3", almost 200 pounds.
And a loose arm.
And a very simple mechanics as he goes to the plate. A whole lot of wasted motion. He starts on the first base side. Brings the hands up and then delivers the baseball.
This ball moves a lot late. You can see that on that fastball that was high. Down the right field line. Should be at least 2 for Barnes. 2-out double.
And that's big in 2 ways. I mean, one for Brandon, he gets his thing, but you also bring the pitcher up because you know he's only going to go maybe 3 innings, if 4 tops now, because he's only throwing 18 pitches. Brandon was beat on that fastball, but he was still in a good position to hit it the other way. Now you get the pitcher up, you roll the lineup over. So many good things happen.
Gonzalez Herman. That's a swing of a reliever.
That one was.
was talking to Jorge De La Rosa earlier. Herman's from the Dominican. And actually Vinny was right there, and they didn't realize his first name was Gonzalez, and De La Rosa said that's my mom's maiden name. And in Mexico they use both, so you know, in formal situations he's Jorge De La Rosa Gonzalez. 3-pitch strikeout. Miller fans Herman as we have completed 2 innings. The Rockies leading 1-0 on an Arenado double. And a RBI double in the first from Nolan Arenado to drive in DJ LeMahieu. Well, the All-Star game coming next Tuesday, and it is time for the Coors Timeless Moment. 2001, I'll never forget this. Joe Torre saying it's okay. Cal Ripken was elected as a third baseman. It was his 19th and final appearance in the All-Star game. A-Rod was the shortstop. In the first inning, he said, no, you go to short. And that's what he did, to his thunderous ovation. And then, wouldn't you know it, in his second at bat, he had a home run. And your good friend had a penchant for the dramatic, because when he broke Lou Gehrig's Ironman streak, he also homered that night.
Yeah, 21-31. In that game, he took who was pitching that? Sean Bosky. Took Sean Bosky deep to left field, the left center field bleachers. And also a night he had a temperature over 100.
When he broke the
Ironman streak.
Or tied it?
Yeah, wasn't feeling well, but still went out there.
It couldn't have been the only time he didn't feel well in 2,131 straight games.
Talk about a record that'll never be touched.
No. 2-0 on Gomes. And that's in there, 2-1. .34-year-old Johnny Gomes. Parts 13 years in the big leagues. And he lifts this in the air to Barnes in left. And with one gone, Andrelton Simmons will come up. With every challenged call, the Subaru EyeSight review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. So here's Simmons, the two-time Gold Glove winning shortstop for Atlanta. And that pitch a bit too tall. It's
I think he ducked that one.
Yeah, I thought it was a strike initially, but it was called a ball. Boy, that had a lot of sink on it, didn't it? That was a change-up, actually.
He has the same arm action as he does on the fastball, and that's where you get these swings of the Subaru Supermo.
He doubled up on it.
If you have the confidence, you just threw a very nice one. Go back to it. Don't try to overthrow it, though. And he didn't.
He really has a nice feel for that changeup, and that's the scouting report we heard on him.
Now you're sitting in the box going, well, man, I don't even know what he's going to throw
Fastball
me.
away. No, it's a slider, and it's an easy play for Descalso. 2 outs.
Daniel might back up 1/2 step too much on that ball. He knew what he was doing.
Shelby Miller at 0-34 will take his turn. Well, Aaron Laffey's starting to warm up, but he may be pushed back a little bit in this game. You're talking about 27 pitches so far, and it's 28 pitches and an 0-2 count on the opposition pitcher.
But remember, he's been starting down in AAA, so it's a different dynamic for him trying to warm up to come into a game. So I mean, he might be treating it more like it's going to be a start for him, and how he goes about getting loose.
One ball, 2 strikes on Shelby Miller. Shelby Miller's having the best at bat of any Atlanta Brave yet. Found a couple off. It's now 2-2.
Just spit on a slider.
Three and 2 on Miller.
See what kind of confidence he has. Is he just trying to blow him away with the fastball away? Yes. Oh, guess not. I guess it was high.
So a walk with 2 outs to Miller. After retiring 7 in a row, that'll bring up Jace Peterson, and he had a bloop single to left, leading off the game. This is a high fly ball to shallow right. In fact, DJ is going to go out, and he'll make the play. Another strong inning for Gonzalez Herman in his Rockies debut, and Colorado has a 1-0 lead, middle of 3.
1-0. They come to hit here in the bottom of the third. Earlier today, the place to be was the Rio on Blake Street for lunch. It was a get out the vote hashtag Tulo day. Trying to get Tulo into the All-Star game. He was one of the final 5, and everybody was texting and tweeting and Facebooking and Instagramming away, and that's what we're doing tonight for hashtag Fan Friday night out here. We're celebrating the All-Star game. By the way, the winners of the final 5, Carlos Martinez in the NL, the Cardinals pitcher, second to do so. Freeze did it in 2012, and also Mike Moustakas of the Royals. Hey, you put the show me state to a test and they show you, right? They picked the 2 guys that are going to be in the All-Star game. We have some historic All-Star game stuff coming up on hashtag Fan Friday. Make sure you tweet us tonight.
Mark, thank you very much. You know, with injuries, there's still a possibility. Troy Tulowitzki's in Cincinnati on Tuesday. Matt Holliday is in one of those iffy situations. If he backs out, I know Matt's an outfielder, Troy is not, but you know, Troy was the only position player in the final 5, and it's not like with the 34, 35-man rosters, they're short on a particular position.
Yeah, you never want to see anybody get injured and not be able to go, but it is a fact. I know it would still be an honor no matter how you got there.
Charlie with a base hit. Leadoff single in the third for Blackmon. Now here's an earlier tweet from Troy. Thank you for your support today and all week.
A lot of tweets from different people and organization, the Avs, the Broncos, the Nuggets, the Rapids. I mean, it was Air Force Academy. I saw that one too.
It's been a boon for Major League Baseball how they handle the All-Star game now, and the fan voting and the voting online for the final spot gets everybody involved, and it brings positive attention to the sport, and that's always a good thing. 1-0 on LeMahieu. DJ is single, and he scored the only run of the game in the first. You know, sometimes, Huey, did you find this in your career that the big power pitchers, Miller's a power pitcher, they're easier to run on because they're focused on getting the hitter, and it's not like they're dealing with a lot of traffic frequently. And there goes Charlie, and the throw by Przynski's not going to get it. 22nd stolen base for Charlie Blackmon.
And just watch, when we go to this replay, watch the leg kick of Shelby Miller, and that's why Charlie was able to steal. Now AJ's 9 for 20 or 52, but see how high the leg goes. I know it's pretty quick. A quick glance over the shoulder on a 2-0 count. Charlie goes directly into the bag. I mean, that's perfect technique. Go into the bag, let the bag slow you down, and just hope that that foot doesn't pop off there.
Charlie 4th in the National League in steals. Actually, in all of baseball. Billy Hamilton out in front of everybody, then D. Gordon, Jose Altuve.
But what do all those guys besides Charlie have in common? They're not very tall guys. They're not real big. Charlie's a big guy.
Yeah, Charlie's 6'4", and that's a walk to LeMahieu. So 2 on, nobody out for Nolan.
He's asking the home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg if that pitch was down.
Freddie Gonzalez has a mildly perturbed look on his face.
That RBI.
Who's Carlos Tosca calling this early?
I was wondering the same thing. I just looked out to the bullpen. There's no activity there. Was he calling somebody back in the clubhouse to check on pitches to see if it was a, how tightly it's being called?
Yeah, maybe that was the reason. And Nolan fouls this one off. Unloaded a line shot to the gap in left center field to score DJ in the first.
That snapped a streak of 9 games without recording an RBI for Nolan. That streak was tied for the longest in his career. His last RBI prior was June 28th at San Francisco.
That's all right. The week that ended on June 28th, he drove in like 40.
Well, that's when he was the National League Player of the Week.
He got the award. As a very nice watch from Major League Baseball, presented by Blake Doyle before the ball game today. Won't be the last time he wins Player of the Week honors in his career. Blackman at second, LeMahieu at first. Good speed on board.
Charlie's dancing around out at second base, trying to time Shelby Miller. At the same time, DJ at first. He's kind of turned sideways with his head more on a swivel to second. If Charlie takes off, then he can get the back end of the double steal. You really, if you're first, you have to rely on your first base coach to make sure that there's not going to be somebody in that first baseman that sneaks up behind you and try a back pick.
And that's a strikeout of Arenado. And where was it? Up and in. So there's one out. That'll bring up Cargo. He struck out on a pitch up and in the first.
This is just a riding fastball, not where Shelby Miller wanted it, nor was it where A.J. Brzezinski had set up. Sometimes you get lucky as a pitcher. Didn't hit your spot, but it was still high enough that get Nolan to try to swing and make contact, and he did.
See if Cargo can get a run home here in the third. Way inside, ball one.
Cargo after the game last night was saying that he hit the ball to right, hit a couple to left, but he said his timing is starting to get there. He's starting to get his legs and his timing underneath him. And it's essential for a hitter. You have to have it. It's like building a house on a bad foundation. It's just not going to last very long. Oh my!
I cannot believe Miller went to the plate there.
All things were going. You had the shortstop break into second base. He wanted to pick off. Charlie starts to go to third. He's going back. Just look at Charlie. He takes off. DJ starts to take off, and the pitch is still delivered. And how about all that area out there to hit the ball in? Well,
and it's not like Miller didn't see it. He looked back. Got to step off when your fielder's out of position. 2-1 on Cargo. Now with a little cloud cover, both the pitcher and the hitter in the shadow.
Take any little advantage you can get.
Especially when a guy throws this hard. Easy heat from Miller. Two-one. Well, does history repeat itself? That's what Cargo's thinking about. Is he going to come up and in with the fastball too?
Well, 39 of the 48 pitches that Shelby Miller's thrown have been fastballs. I mean, that's what you have to. That's what you have to think.
2-2. He went fastball, but it's off the plate. And now it's 3-2. Opposition hitting just .209 against Miller, but the Rockies have 4 hits already against Shelby.
Be careful to start the runners with the open side with the left-handed hitter.
And Cargo is out in front, and now that's 2 strikeouts, and it'll be left to Ben Paulson.
That's why Walt did not put on the run for Charlie or DJ, and that was a slider. Not much of a slider, but enough to disrupt the timing.
Paulson bounced to short in the first inning. You know, the great ones can do this. The power pitchers, little traffic, forget having the ball be put in play. They get punch outs. 4 strikeouts for Miller. Well, the Rockies last night left 7 runners in scoring position. And already tonight, they left a runner in scoring position in the first, in the second. And they obviously have one in scoring position right now. Paulson, good pass through the zone. It's 1-1.
You said earlier that Wednesday you left 13 on base. Last night it was 11. So 24 runners left on base in the last 2 games. Heading into tonight.
And the Rockies have the best average with runners in scoring position in the National League at 297. Believe it or not, the Braves are second. I say believe it or not because they're not known as a real strong offensive team, especially the last 3 weeks playing without Freddie Freeman.
And the Giants are third.
The Giants have scored a lot of runs out on the road this year.
Rockies 297, Braves 288, San Francisco 282.
That's a fair ball. This is going to be a difficult play. Was a foot on the bag? It was for Chris Johnson. He made sure his right foot was on the bag, and he just waited for the baseball. That'll end the inning. So the Rockies had 2 men on with nobody out. They had the right people coming up, but do not score. They do lead 1-0.
July 7th, 1998, here in Denver, Coors Field. Yep, Larry Walker, Vinny Castilla, Dante representing the Rocks. Don Baylor, of course. It was a fabulous day. Some of the big names in the game then, McGuire, Ripken, Jr., all here at Coors Field. A-Rod. And Walt Weiss, of course, was here as a member of the Braves, his only all-star game. Earlier, I was walking around Coors Field, and I took a photo of this guy and tweeted it because he has a Andres Galarraga Braves 98 all-star game jersey on that he wore here. On the other side, it's got the Braves logo, like I've got the CR logo on this shirt this year. So if you have any all-star game memories, Rockies, things you saw over the years, tweet us at @RootSports_RM and use the hashtag FanFriday. That's what we're working on tonight, guys.
Sounds good, Mark. The Rockies will turn now to Aaron Laffey despite the low pitch count for Gonzalez Herman. Herman did a really nice job. They got 3 innings out of him. And so now the 30-year-old veteran of a bunch of organizations.
Cleveland, Seattle.
Hold on, you need a lot of time. You want to
okay,
do
right now.
Cleveland,
Seattle, New York, Yankees, Toronto, and the Mets.
Well, and he's been with Cleveland, Seattle, the Yankees, Kansas City, Toronto. This is off the bat. It may have been a DJ 1 out.
I was just talking about the big leagues.
Right.
When you're going to add the rest of them.
Yeah, the Mets. He pitched in the big leagues with the Mets. He went back to Toronto. He was in the Dodgers organization, the Brewers organization, the Orioles organization, the Nationals organization, and now with the Rockies.
And I'm sure he was wondering at times when he was back down in the minor leagues, was this going to happen again? Was I going to be able to step out onto a big league field? Because it would have been since April 26, 2013 when he appeared for the Yankees, the last major league game.
What a nice job. What a nice debut for Gonzalez Hermet. 3 shutout innings, 1 hit, a walk, and a strikeout.
I'm sure Walt is just saying, man, this is the best we could have hoped for, because he didn't even need to go out there. He was never in trouble. The one, I guess, hiccup you would say would be the walk to Shelby Miller, but then he immediately gets Peterson to pop up to DJ.
With 34 pitches, 22 for strikes. 3-1 on Markakis. And that is going to be snared by DJ. Not just the offense, a whole lot of defense too with DJ LeMahieu, and he may be on his way to another Gold Glove at second.
And he makes this look so easy after he catches the ball. So he catches it. Now as an infielder, you're trying to stop your momentum, and you'll throw that hand down like an anchor. And that helps to propel your body and to twist it. And then once he's there, it's just up. Nice easy toss to first. No problem.
Yep, nice little flip. Kelly Johnson hits it on the ground to third. Nolan sets his feet. And Aaron Laffey, 3 ground outs. A very quick 4th inning for Laffey. Rockies leading 1-0. Tag RM Data Strong Fan, and you might see yourself in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Bottom of the 4th inning, Nick Hundley will lead things off for the Rockies. They're up 1-0 on Shelby Miller. They've had opportunities each inning to score. 2 men on in the first. They got a run. They had a 2-out double from Barnes in the second. Did not score. First 2 men reached in the 3rd inning, and the Rockies did not score. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Mark Stout on a beautiful Friday evening at 20th and Blake. And the breaking ball was kind of a hanger, but it was way inside, so Nick Hundley let it pass. It's ball 1.
That was the first breaking pitch he's tried to throw.
That looked like a cutter there.
That's an improved pitch for him from last year to this year, is the cut fastball.
And this is in the air to shallow right. It's going to drop for Hundley. So now the Rockies have had the leadoff man on in 2 straight innings. And they've had base runners in all 4 innings against Shelby Miller.
Fans looking to come out to a game, there's always great Rockies ticket deals available. Bookmark Rockies.com/specials and check back all season long.
Daniel Descalso. The Rockies will hit and run with Nick Hundley at first base. They've done it a number of times this year.
And I would do it on this pitch.
Especially after ball 1, right?
Yes.
EY counseling him, and EY was studying Stu Cole's signs very carefully, just like Nick was. Not happening here, and this ball's ripped toward the gap in right center field. Roll, baby, roll. It'll go all the way to the wall. Hundley will score. This might be 3 for Descalso. It will be. Make it 2-0 Colorado.
No need to hit and run. Just hit it in the gap. And that snaps an 0 for 20 for Daniel. You hit the ball in the gap and just let it go to the wall, score, run, get a triple. And when you're scuffling, you're thinking, man, when's my next hit going to come? When's it going to happen? What happened big time on that swing from Daniel.
Big AB here for Barnes. The middle infielders come in halfway. They're in on the corners. I guess you can do this, Huey, if you feel like you have really big arms in the middle.
And that's what they do. Simmons has a real above average arm, probably a 65 or so.
Barnes takes a strike. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. He shot a double inside the first base bag, his first plate appearance.
Does make it a tougher read for the base runner at third when the infield is positioned like they are. Because if they're back, all you hear is, well, making sure it's by the pitcher and the corners. So that's an easier, oh yeah, I see that, they're playing back, I can go ahead and get home. But when they're in this in-between range, now it's pretty much I've got to see it through. I can't go on contact.
Well, you think he'd get a pitch up, and that's what he did. He got a pitch up, but it's hard to catch up to 96 above the belt.
Yeah, because when you get a pitch up, what do you have to do? You have to raise your hands to get on top of the ball. But what does that produce? That produces more of a ground ball swing when you're trying to elevate it. So if you want to try to get a ball up, you have to still have it about mid-thigh, like that pitch.
Barnes 1 for 6 in his matchups with Shelby Miller. And this is past the diving second baseman Jace Peterson, and the Rockies have another run. It's 3-0. Good at bat for Brandon Barnes.
Yeah, the infielders playing at the midway depth. It goes off the mound. Shelby Miller's diving for it. Jace Peterson's diving for it on the Subaru Supermo. That ball was smoked.
And with nobody out, Aaron Laffey try to get the bunt down. 3 runs, 7 hits for the Rockies against Shelby Miller. again, who brought in the 3rd best ERA in baseball tonight, 2.07. One strike count on Laffey. Barnes takes off. The throw to second's not going to get it. Stay on the bag. He's out now. Oh, man. How many times has that happened this year? We've seen it a bunch throughout baseball. And this is sliding hard and then skipping past the bag. And it goes as a caught stealing. It's a continuation of the play, even though Brandon beat it by a lot. This is an unfortunate break.
Just tried to pop up too quick. And this is now the new rule for the infielders, is just continue to apply the tag, and there it was. He's getting the high fives and the handshakes for that RBI single to drive in Daniel. Man, that's a heartbreaker, though. You had the base stolen. You kind of caught the Braves by surprise.
You know, he's going to be at second. Now Laffey gets a bunt down. You got a runner at third with one out.
Yeah, and even if he doesn't get the bunt down, he's still at second base for the top of the lineup.
Yeah, it used to be guys, and you played in the middle infield, you just swipe tag.
Swipe tag.
And you didn't. Now it's a swipe and a hold.
and continue to hold.
And maybe nudge.
Swipe,
just a hold,
slight
nudge.
Push. Slight push.
Nudge, not push. Nudge.
But yeah, you usually just catch the ball, let the ball travel to you, swipe tag, and try to get out of there. And sometimes you'd steal the call.
Yeah, just the phantom
tag. Phantom tag.
Laffey's gone. That's strikeout number 5 for Shelby Miller. 2 outs, nobody on. A couple of runs in. Charlie Blackmon, who singled last inning, coming up. Switch seats with Todd Helton, the '98 All-Star game here in Denver, so he could sit with his college buddies. That's a great story.
Imagine that Todd come up to you and say, hey, you know, hey, my buddies are sitting over. You mind if we switch seats?
He was already pretty good, but he wasn't the legend yet.
No, but you still knew who he was.
Sure. Two-strike count on Charlie. I bet you the Braves are ticked off that Blackman's not wearing an Atlanta uniform, because they seemingly get everybody from that part of the country. We've talked about it.
Well, and how far is Georgia Tech from the stadium?
About
maybe
5
5
minutes.
miles, if that far.
This ball's well hit left center field. Ball still going back. Johnny can't make the play. And Charlie to second, and he's long striding it toward third. Triple for Blackman. Second triple of the inning for the Rockies.
Disrespect to Johnny, but he's known more as a hitter, because the way he approached this is not how you would teach in outfield play 101. He's running, looking at the ball the whole way, trying to run, and then he stumbles and trips and falls. Charlie sees it go down, so he'll hunt third. 4th triple of the season.
LeMahieu a single and a walk. Chance for a 2-out ribby. Rockies 3 runs, 8 hits already here in the 4th inning against Shelby Miller, who will be in Cincinnati next Tuesday as a member of the National League All-Star team. High fly ball to left field.
Johnny doesn't see it.
He doesn't see it. And that hits off the base of the center field wall. No, it's. Oh, it did. Okay. It's a ground rule double. way out in center field with second base umpire Corey Blazer. He did a nice job getting out there. And it's 4-0 Colorado. You and I were doing the same thing. We're watching Gomes, and the ball was really more toward Maben in center. But this ball is hit better than I thought.
Look at how far Maben's going to have to run for this ball and where he stopped. And Johnny Gomes shows up his hands. He's like, I don't see it. Where is it? And then he's asking for help from Cameron Maben, but he had to run so far and then slide to catch that ball on the Subaru Supermo. Bounces off the warning track, goes up into the stands, and you'll take it. Kind of had a gift triple, and now this double to tack on another run.
That's really nice considering the misfortune that Brandon Barnes had in over sliding second base on the steal attempt. Triple double, Blackman and LeMahieu. 4-0 Colorado. Arenado drove in the Rockies' first run with a double to left center. He's 1 for 2 against Shelby Miller. Whoa. I think Nolan took too kindly to that.
I'm not sure they want to put their lockers next to each other in Cincinnati on Tuesday. I don't think he meant anything by it. I think it just got away from him. More of an anger throw of what's happened to the last two guys that have been up there. AJ Pierzynski's out there to talk to him. But I don't blame Nolan. I don't blame him one bit. The ball starts to come up towards your head. You have to glare out there. Home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg didn't think it was intentional. There's no warnings issued.
Ball is fouled off. Now Jeff Kellogg is one of the top umpires in the game. 22.5 years of big league umpire now for Jeff. He's worked 5 World Series. In fact, he's worked 28 World Series games. The only guy in Major League Baseball that's worked more World Series games is Dana DeMuth with 29. And I'll tell you another quick story about Jeff Kellogg. You know, he has a little history, Rockies and Braves. He was behind home plate in 2010 when Ubaldo no-hit the Braves at Turner Field.
And one of the most well-respected men that put on the gear and call the games. And that's why he's been so many World Series. That's on a merit basis. How you rate.
That misses. It's 3-1. Shelby Miller, he's not being treated like an all-star by the Rockies, and his next delivery, Jeff, will be his 80th.
Yeah, and that's where right now you can tell he's just throwing, not really pitching.
Got an interesting little graphic for you on players with more extra base hits than strikeouts this year in baseball. Look at this. Nolan with 48 extra base hits. He struck out only 45 times. And the guy we just saw, the future first ballot Hall of Famer Albert Pujols, the same boat. Michael Brantley, we're bragging on how talented he is earlier this season.
He might be one of the most underrated players in the game.
Would agree. Daniel Murphy on that list also. And this is bounced to Simmons. That ends the inning, but the Rockies scored 3 against Miller in the 4th. They had a pair of triples, a couple singles, a double as well. And the Rockies lead it 4-0 as we go to the 5th. Rockies have a 4-0 lead on Shelby Miller. 9 hits. Nolan had an RBI double in the first. And Descalso and Blackman with triples. How about this? It's been 32 innings since Atlanta has scored when Shelby Miller's been on the mound. June 13th. They gave him a first inning run against the Mets. Here, enjoy this.
Yeah.
Go get him.
There's always one guy on every staff that seems to happen to. And it can change from year to year. Next year, it could be Shelby Miller's turn to get 6 runs a game.
Right now, Shelby would take 6 runs a month. Rockies trying to build on the victory last night, 5-3 over Atlanta. Chris Johnson at the plate, deep fly ball to right center, his first time. That is.
Fortunately, it went into an empty row.
Yeah, that's 20 rows deep.
There's nobody sitting in those first 4 or 5 seats.
They're breaking the bad news to him. Sir, you can't keep that bat.
But why?
I think you should be able to. I don't know what the rule is. Are you not allowed to have a bat in the stands? Can they
maybe
put
give
it?
it back?
Yeah, they'll give it to you after the game. I'm not sure how it works.
Everybody's okay. He's still holding the bat.
They haven't taken it. That's good. I remember growing up in the Bronx, they had bat day. And,
I'll tell you a story about that in a minute.
And that wasn't always the best idea.
We had it in Texas one time.
2-2 on Chris Johnson. Aaron Laffey's delivery, and there goes part of the bat. And Descalso throws out Chris.
So Chris is 0 for 1 with that ground out, but 0 for 2 in bats. 1 in the stand, 1 broken. Real quick on the little miniature bats they used to give. So it's pulling out of the players lot, and said people wanted me to sign, so I stopped, rolled down, started to sign a few bats. Well, then something happened. I had to get going, and next thing you know, people were starting to hit my car with their bats, saying, "Wait, stop, sign this." And
they were
banging on my car. So I said, "Oh well, this isn't going to turn out well."
Is that because you told me a story once? Pierzynski fouls it off that you brought your car into the insurance adjuster claiming hail damage. Is that the same story?
Same story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was very smart.
Neither one worked out well. I didn't get it fixed. Now, there wasn't damage, but it was kind of unnerving for the kids because they were in the back and people are, "Dad, why are people banging on the car with the bat?"
Son, they were upset.
I probably went over
in the 5th inning.
Probably went over.
Pierzynski an opposite field single, and that'll bring up Johnny Gomes. Johnny, a fly ball to left his first time up. Gomes out of Petaluma, California. Just north of San Francisco. Johnny's hit 18 home runs or more in a season 5 different times. Got himself a World Series ring also a couple of years ago with the Red Sox. He had 11 postseason starts that year, did Gomes, and the Red Sox went 10-1, so he was kind of their good luck charm.
Everybody I've talked to with the Braves said he couldn't be a nicer guy. He kind of gives you this gruff appearance, like, oh man, do we even want to say hi to him?
He's a tough guy.
But they say he's just been good in the clubhouse. Obviously, with as many times as he's been on the playoff teams, has over 10 years of service time.
For the last 5 years, the team he's on goes to the postseason. Rockies had that when they went and got Jason Marquis. It was like 7 years in a row. Marquis was on a playoff team, and it worked in 2009 for the Rockies.
That was the year he was an all-star.
He was an all-star, had a marvelous first half. Rockies leading 4-0. And Laffey walks Johnny Gomes. And that'll get Nick Hundley out to the mound. In the 8th spot in the lineup, the shortstop Andrelton Simmons coming up.
Aaron last pitched on July 6th when the Isotopes were at Las Vegas. 5 innings in that game. Just down in Albuquerque, was it last week?
Yeah. This time last week.
Beautiful stadium.
Gorgeous, gorgeous stadium. And this ball is well hit to left, but Barnes is right there, 2 outs. John Trout, the general manager, is doing a terrific job for the Isotopes. You're a GM of a minor league franchise. You wear so many different hats.
I know I've talked to some of the players. They're just raving about the field and the field condition.
The field is great. They average more than 8,000 fans a night. The night I was there was fireworks night. There was close to 17,000. Trevor Story swinging the bat really well down there. I told you Rex Brothers is really starting to feel like he's got his confidence back. Rex has looked much better. John Gray, we know, is throwing the ball much better. Glenn Allen Hill, it was good to see G, because he's got such a great demeanor about him, and the players love playing for him. Fly ball from Shelby Miller to Cargo, and that's it. 2 men left on in the 5th inning. Aaron Laffey and the Rockies ahead 4-0.
His Cargo All-Star jersey from New York on. It's a Fan Friday. Use the hashtag Fan Friday. Tweet us at @RootSports_RM. We're celebrating the All-Star game with it upcoming on Tuesday. And I want to show you this tweet from the Baseball Hall, and it's about the '62 All-Star game 53 years ago. Last time they had 2 games. In that game, JFK, of course, throws out the first pitch. There were 8 total pitchers in that game. It was a 3-1 game. The NL won in 2 hours and 23 minutes. You remember the game that Aaron Cook pitched in for the Rockies in 2008 at Yankee Stadium? As we take a look at the action, that game, and Cargo gets a hold of this one.
Yeah, this one may leave the yard, may come out your way. It does. You had a better chance of making a play on that than Cameron Maybin. Home run for Cargo, his 12th. It's 5-0 Rockies. Well, he punched out Huey his first 2 times. And he said, I'm not getting deep here.
Baseball's about adjustments. He made the adjustment on this swing. Takes a pitch that's off the plate by about a half a baseball, but still has the plate coverage that not a lot of guys have. Nor does it have that loud sound because that ball just went out. It just carried over the head of Cameron Maybin and just started the fountains flowing.
Ben Paulson at the plate. That's 10 hits for the Rockies against Shelby Miller.
That is a season high against Shelby.
Yeah, I'm looking in his previous high, allowing hits, and that's going to be another hit.
Could be a double.
It could be a double, and Eric Young's trying to get his attention. Ben Paulson got through the bag, and EY's saying, hey, take a look.
Remember back in the third inning, what Ben did? He hit that ball down the third base line, and it became a force out. This time it kisses off the bag, gets by Chris Johnson. Ben's going, please stay fair, because I know if it stays fair, even if it doesn't hit the bag, I'm going to get a base hit. Don't apologize. Don't apologize for the hit. You'll take every single one you can.
Yeah, you know what? I think the reason you're seeing that face is, you know, one of the things I'm sure you taught when you were an instructor with the Cubs, always know where the baseball is.
Yes, that's true, but when it goes off the bag, you're still thinking I'm running through the bag.
Then go find the baseball.
Then go find the baseball.
Yeah. Well, you made an interesting observation. The ball that Cargo hit out was a ball.
It was. I mean, this ball is off the plate, but where does he catch this? He still catches it out on the sweet spot. How many guys are going to be able to do that? Hit it on the sweet spot of the bat when it's not on the plate.
Explain that. We always talk about short to the ball, be short to the ball. Cargo has a long swing, but in his case, he's won a batting title. He's been a multiple All-Star. Why does that work for him?
For him, because it's not long until it starts to go towards the ball. It's not long as he's going back in his setup. Does that make sense? Where his front foot is loading, but his hands are still in a pretty good position. And then once he starts his path to the ball, that's when it gets longer. And it's long through the ball.
And he has, as you showed, tremendous plate coverage.
And he also, he'll stride towards the plate, so that helps him with that plate coverage. Some guys then aren't able to handle that fastball in if they start to go towards the plate too much.
Lock off the hip.
Yeah, the hips will lock off, and then you'll start to come out and around the ball. And that's when it gets long.
Troy Tulowitzki enjoying the night off. He's watching his buddy Cargo trot around the bases. Rockies 5 runs on 11 hits against All-Star Shelby Miller. Nobody out. Paulson at first. Nick Hundley has to duck out of the way.
Those are just overthrown baseballs. Your front shoulder will fly open too fast. You leave the arm behind. Ball runs from you. You don't have the arm side command. That's 2 pitches now from Shelby Miller. Has done the same thing. One to Nolan last inning, and then this one to Nick here in the 5th.
Atlanta came to town after taking 2 of 3 from Milwaukee at Miller Park. Rockies just 8-22 last 30 matchups with the Braves. And Miller gets a strikeout of Hundley. That's strikeout number 6 for Shelby Miller. It'll bring up Daniel Descalso.
Schedule a group outing at Coors Field. Get discounts and scoreboard recognition when you bring your group of 25 or more. Call 303 Rockies or go online to rockies.com/groups and get your group on.
Descalso snapped an 0 for 20 with a triple to right center. to drive in a run last inning, and then he would come around on a Brandon Barnes base hit up the middle. 11 hits for the Rockies, again 3 more than Miller had given up in any game this year. And my guess is this will be all for Miller. It's going to be 5 and fly. Pitch count, and the fact that this club's down 5-0. He's already at 91 pitches.
You don't want him to go out, and it hasn't been an easy 91 pitches.
No. And even if you were to get a double play ball here in the mid-90s, you would assume that Freddie will say, hey, you know what, you've been awesome, wasn't your night.
Atlanta's made a change in their rotation. Alex Wood only threw 2 pitches last night. He is going to go on Sunday now. So Manny Banuelos, who was scheduled to start on Sunday, is up in the bullpen for Atlanta. He's back in play as a reliever.
Fouled off again. Well, Banuelos, figure, will be in the game next inning. The Rockies in a similar situation. Kyle Kendrick will be available over the weekend for the Rockies if necessary. De La Rosa going tomorrow. Chad Bettis scheduled on Sunday. And then what most teams do is kind of reshuffle the deck after the All-Star break, and it's easier to do now that every team, and this is something I think was super by Major League Baseball a couple years ago when they gave every team 4 days off. Yes. Remember, some teams would start back on Thursday.
I hated that.
Runner going, and the throw is going to get him. So it's a strike him out, throw him out, as Ben Paulson is cut down. And that will end the inning. But the Rockies get another run on the home run to dead center field off the bat of Carlos Gonzalez. Having a big July.
Use the hashtag FanFriday. Tweet us at @RootSports_RM. We're talking about some of the All-Star games from the past, and we got a tweet here about that Aaron Cook game in 2008. course, Edison remembers it. I remember it well, guys. That game went 4 hours and 50 minutes because it went 15 innings at Yankee Stadium. Aaron Cook came into the 10th. He ended up pitching 3 innings. He faced 16 batters because, remember, Dan Uggla couldn't field at second. He was a Marlins all-star at that time. But he got out of it. He got Morneau, he got Quentin, and he got Ian Kinsler out to get out of 3 innings and keep the National League in that game. He threw 42 pitches. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, that was another one of the bright moments for Rocky in the All-Star game. Baldo Jimenez, 2010, started the All-Star game.
Hop had a pretty good All-Star game.
Brad Hop would have been the MVP. This is on the ground to first, if not for Carl Crawford. So here's why. This would have put the National League out in front. Brad hits it well, left center field, is going to get out, right? Crawford leaps, takes a home run away. I got out of my chair when Brad hit that.
I did too. Okay, there you go. There's your MVP. He's going to get a new car. Nope. Just got robbed by Carl Crawford.
You know, I think speak for a lot of fans when the all-time Rockies, Brad Hop, because not only did he have a terrific career for the Rockies, part of the 07 World Series team, postseason 09, but Brad Hop, one of the all-time great guys to wear a Rockies uniform as well.
Very professional approach.
This is a sharp one-hopper past a diving Descalso. That'll be a base hit for Cameron Maybin, and he now has a 10-game hitting streak.
Cameron really worked hard on his swing, and you can see by this top spin that gets by Daniel. Well, it's a hard ball to judge for a shortstop because once it's hit, you see it coming off the bat, you're starting to move over there, but then you're kind of in between. Do I slide and try to catch it and then spin? Do I stay upright? But why do you slide? So you can get lower and try to get that glove down closer towards your eyes.
Nick Markakis takes a strike. Gonzalez Herman, in his first outing in a Rockies uniform, picked off waivers from the Cubs last week. 3 innings through just 34 pitches, did not allow a run, 1 hit, 1 walk, and a strikeout. And now Laffey's come in and just hit Markakis. It's the 3rd inning of work for Aaron Laffey. 2 on, 1 out. Kelly Johnson coming up.
Herman also with those 34 pitches just threw 22 strikes. He was just attacking the strike zone from pitch 1. LaTroy Hawkins, the few relievers, really the only reliever left last night who didn't appear in the ball game. Johan Flande was not available. He was on the lineup card. He is back in play tonight.
Darren Holmes warmed up last night.
Steve Foster gives Aaron some words of encouragement. You can play fantasy baseball. MLB.TV serves up real-time highlights and pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players, live or on demand on under 400 devices.
So Kelly Johnson coming up. There's 1 out. Cameron Maybin, who can fly, is at second. Nick Markakis, good athlete, at first. Johnson, a strikeout and a ground ball to third. Ground ball to third came off of Laffey. Second tour of duty for Kelly Johnson with Atlanta. And that's a strike. He was a compensatory first-round pick back in 2000 of the Braves. And this is lifted to left field pretty deep. Barnes going back, and this is going to get out. Wow. I didn't think off the bat it was going to fly like that, but it's a warm night And a 3-run home run for Kelly Johnson, and just like that, the Braves are right back in this game. It was 5-0, now it's 5-3.
Kelly Johnson's been doing this for a long time in his career, hitting home runs. Braves don't hit many of them. They're last in the National League in home runs. Just goes down, and you can see the power of Kelly Johnson. The slider on the Subaru Supermo dropped the backside and elevated. I still thought Brandon off the bat would have a chance, or he could catch it up close to the wall, and it just kept flying.
Now we've seen what happens when it heats up here. And I mean, the temperature's to 79 degrees, but we referenced BP yesterday before the rains came and dropped the temperature about 15 degrees. Balls were just flying. So it's 5-3, 1 out. Chris Johnson at the plate, no relation to Kelly. There's the 1-0. Chris's dad, Ron, played in the big leagues, coached in the big leagues. Remember a couple years back, Chris was giving Michael Kadire a battle for that batting title. In fact, he finished second to Michael. He had 321. Cuddy hit 331.
And that went down to the last couple days. I mean, even though it ended up being 10 points, Chris was neck and neck with Cuddy, and at one point went ahead of him. And then Michael had a good day. He went back ahead and just kept it. And then the Braves rewarded him with the 3-year deal.
And this is a broken bat, base hit to center field. So now you're going to get the tying run up in A.J. Pierzynski. And Hawk throwing with more urgency down in that bullpen. If it gets beyond Pierzynski and you have to go to Johnny Gomes, I think you may see Hawk in the ballgame at that point, not wanting Laffey, a left-hander, to face the power hitting Johnny Gomes.
Yeah, I would agree, but maybe it's not even going to get that far because here comes Walt.
Yeah, he wants Hawkins to face Pierzynski. So Laffey got the first out of the inning, then Maben singled. Markakis was hit by a pitch. 3-run opposite field home run Kelly Johnson, base hit Chris Johnson. And Atlanta is back in this ball game here in the 6th. Truck, it's the future of tough by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Rockies had a 5-0 lead on this pretty Friday night. It's now a 5-3 ball game. The Braves, with 1 out in the 6th inning, have a man on, and A.J. Pierzynski coming up. And LaTroy Hawkins will try to calm the waters.
Well, and that's what you want from your veteran to do. And for LaTroy, he's been scoreless in the last 7 2/3 inning, and that's the 3rd longest streak for the Rockies this season. While he's out there pitching, you got to go on to the Denver Post. You got to read the article about LaTroy written by Benjamin Hockman and Nick Groke. It's just a marvelous piece about LaTroy and what he has done throughout his career and some of the people that he has impacted.
He's impacted a lot of people off the field. He's a wonderful guy. Back at LaTroy, he's going to fire to Descalso. 1 pitch, he's going to get a double play, and that indeed calms the waters. So the Rockies will head to the bat rack in the 6th inning with a 5-3 lead as Hawkins-Przinsky chat. Taco Bell locations the next day. Make sure you do it between 4 and 6 in the afternoon. Get your Rockies taco special at Masa Taco Bell. So keep in mind, LaTroy's been teammates with everybody in baseball. A.J. Przinsky was his catcher for a while in Minnesota. So when A.J. goes by, LaTroy barking at him a little bit. I don't know if the timing was great. A.J. probably not real pleased that he hit into the double play.
I think anybody else you might have gotten a little ticked off. Pretty tough to do against LaTroy. Manny Banuelos, who has been a starter for the Braves, knocked out of that role with the rain last night, but in a relief role today. Banuelos, fastball about 90 miles an hour, range up to 92. Mixing it up a changeup. 79, curveball about 75. First year in the big leagues out of Mexico.
Originally signed by the Yankees and pitched well in the minor leagues with the Yankees. 24-year-old, and his first pitch is line to right, but Markakis is there, so Brandon Barnes is gone.
And Hawk's going to get it back.
How about that? All right, I'm looking. Hawk does not have an AB this year.
What he says, forget the batting gloves, forget any of that.
Right. Now
I think I'm just going to.
Let's see if Przinsky says anything to him. Because AJ is one of the better talkers among catchers in the game. He may not swing just to protect his hands.
Just might take one more. Stand up there like a statue. No. Just lull him into sleep.
Smiled at Przinsky, said, just don't throw a cutter here. will be the at for that at bat. Hawk will jog off.
The last time you saw a major league guy jog off the field after striking out.
Charlie taking an extra moment. Let Hawk get a couple more seconds to take a break. 2 outs. Charlie a single and a triple tonight. That's fouled off 2-2. So LaTroy Hawkins has played with 647 players who actually were on a given team in which Hawk appeared in a given season. Guys who actually played in a game with LaTroy. 567. Does that mean you had a pretty good career? Huh?
Yes. Real good career.
It was Jamie Moyer. Remember Dougie did the research on Moyer a few years ago when Jamie finished his career in a Rockies uniform at 50, and he had played with, I mean, like 11% of guys that had played in the history of baseball. Guys who've appeared in the big leagues, he'd played with 11% of them.
I played with him on 3 different teams. I played with him in Texas, Seattle, and Baltimore.
Crazy.
I faced Hawk 4 times in the big leagues. Back when he was with Minnesota. I got a knock off him. I let him know.
Did you remind him?
Yeah, 1 for 4.
Outside, so Charlie draws a walk. And that'll bring up DJ. Log on to CFD Rodeo /Keith Urban for an opportunity to win tickets to see Keith Urban in concert. And that will be on Saturday, July 25th, coming up. Giant Frontier Days, summer's largest country music festival.
You also know what today is?
Yeah, today is July the 10th.
Which is also the 125th anniversary of Wyoming becoming a state.
Well, you know, I figured before the end of the day, I would be reminded of that by either yourself or the Cowboy.
Since Cowboy's not up here in the booth, I figure I had to do it.
Yeah.
There's Cowboy.
You should let him know that. Send him a note.
You know what? He's already. Yeah, hi, bud.
$125 years, huh?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
LeMahieu 2 for 2 and a walk. Charlie earlier in the ball game stole his 22nd base of the year. We showed that graphic of the top 5 leads this year in baseball. And you made a wonderful point that all the guys, there goes Charlie again, and he's going to swipe another bat. It's 23rd. All the guys on that list are more diminutive in body type. Charlie's, you know, almost 6'4".
But what did he do? He saw that they threw over twice. He kind of drew what's my rule and what. If he throws over twice, he's probably not going to throw a 3rd time. So you just take your chances, especially with the left-hander on the hill. And you go first movement, and then Charlie's just hanging on by a toenail on the bag. I'll reach back, kind of like playing Twister. Remember that game as a kid?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you said that. Ribby out there for LeMahieu. Drove in his 35th run with a double in the 4th. Rockies up 5-3 down the line. Just foul, says Mark Ripperger.
Chris Johnson was helping out Mark with the call. He was pointing it as it was foul. .23 .430 for Charlie.
And this ball is knocked down by Johnson, and the throw to first will still get DJ. So in the inning, there was a walk and a man left as we go to the 7th inning. The Rockies 5 and the Braves 3 at Coors Field.
.53 as we go to the 7th. It's a Fan Friday. You can continue to tweet us at @RootSports_RM. Use the hashtag Fan Friday. Celebrating All-Star Games 2003. Todd Helton starts at first for the National League. U.S. Cellular Field. And let's show you Todd against Hashigawa. First pitch he sees with Sheffield on. Dead central. And a 2-run home run. The AL would win that game 7-6. 17 is what number Hashigawa wore for Seattle, and he gave one up to number 17 in that All-Star game, guys. Always good to see Todd Helton.
Great All-Star memories for the Rockies. LaTroy Hawkins in the 7th inning is going to give up a base hit here to Johnny Gomes. Bring up Simmons. That's a quote, Nick Groke's piece. LaTroy Hawkins, when I'm done, the only thing I'll care about is what my teammates thought of me. And that's LaTroy in a nutshell.
Said, I'm not going to care about the wins, playoffs, anything like that. Just think about when they say his name. Man, that was a great guy.
This is sliced to right, and it is a foul ball. Actually, you faced Hawk 6 times.
Well, I didn't count. I was just counting official at bats. One
You
for 4,
had a couple
walked
walks
twice.
against him. So you had a 500 on base percentage against Detroit.
That's back when he was starting. He started early in his career.
That's right. That's right. And he came up with Minnesota when our producer Tavis Strand was a wee lad.
Rooting on the Gophers and the Twins.
Sneaking inside the Metrodome on a Friday night. Led him to a big-time television career. The amazing thing, folks, that you can't hear is that I'm getting crickets right now, so I'm not hearing anything either from our producer.
It's usually in our ear the whole game. How about another one of those double play balls that you served up last half inning, Hawk? That worked out very nicely.
1-2 on Simmons and make a play, Huey.
Nope, too far. Too far. See that Juan Uribe has made his way to the on-deck circle. Juan.
That's fouled off. How about the island of Curacao? Every third male is a big leaguer.
Simmons. Is it Andrew Jones?
Yeah, it started with Andrew Jones. There's been
Jair Jurgens?
Jair Jurgens, who's in the Rockies organization. Way inside. Let me think. There's been a slew. Kenley Jansen.
That's right.
Erickson Profar. Randall Simon, who got in trouble for interrupting the sausage race in Milwaukee. Doesn't that stink? Randall's better remembered for that, which is not fair.
It's not, but you do something like that, it's going to keep you in the headlines, and not the right way.
"14 guys have made their way from Curacao to the big leagues, and a guy we see on a regular basis, the hitting coach for the Giants, Bam Bam, Hensley Newlands.
Sir Bam Bam.
That's right, Sir Bam Bam was knighted. 3-2 on Andrelton Simmons.
To a changeup.
Swung on and missed. Throw to second. That was a great job by DJ to pick up that short hop and still make a play on Johnny Gomes.
And the DJ just immediately looked in. Now I wonder if there's interference by Simmons as he crosses home plate. And I still think he was out at second. So
yeah, because his legs weren't extended. Watch.
Right. Tag. Well, that one's going to be close.
And that's why Walt's out arguing that there was interference first. And we're not going to be able to tell on that view.
But Simmons, in the course of his swing, as we tag. Yeah, he's out. His foot is not on the bag. He's still 2 inches away.
They're going to take a look at this.
Yeah, as well they should. How about the pick from DJ? He had
Great
to go
pick.
up, catch it, and then go back down with the tag.
Well, it's time for a Subaru review. Whether you're on the road or at the game, everybody could use a second set of eyes.
I don't think this one is going to take very long to overturn. Tag applied, right? One more frame. There. Foot's not on the bag.
OUT, out.
Out. So he comes up and then has to drop back down. Tags applied. Foot's not on the bag. He's out. Be a caught stealing 2-4. That's the best angle that they're going to be able to see in New York. It's a little more difficult just because you can't see where the foot is in relation to the bag. I still don't think you see the bag come up, so that would tell you it's not there yet.
Here we go.
He's out.
Strike him out, throw him out. Nick Hundley catches Johnny Gomes.
We've been talking so much about DJ and what he had to do, but watch what Nick has to do after the follow through and the swing of Simmons. Okay, so he gets the swing and then he falls across home plate, so he's got to throw over the top of him. The swing, but he did duck down, so that's why there was no interference call.
So Juan Uribe at the plate. He takes strike one. That pitch is down low, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike on Juan. He started last night for the Braves at third base.
So 1 minute 32 seconds on that challenge that was overturned.
Yeah. Uribe last night 0 for 4 strikeout, 3 ground balls to DJ. It's the 1-1, 2-1. Up to shallow right center. DJ going back, and Cargo at the last minute deferred. I thought he was going to take it. DJ was able to grab it. Another strong inning for LaTroy Hawkins. 5-3 Colorado. Tom Farcuni lets us look back in the bottom of the 4th inning. Daniel Descalso snaps it over 20 with an RBI triple. In fact, his first 3-bagger in a couple of years. Brandon Barnes would bring him home with a sharp single up the middle. DJ LeMahieu, this ball nearly got out of here. Just kept carrying and carrying. And it took a hop over the wall, a ground rule double for DJ. Cargo on a pitch off the plate away, hit it over the center field wall against Shelby Miller's 12th of the year. Rockies lead it 5-3 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning with Jeff Houston and Mark Stapp. I'm Drew Goodman. It'll be Arenado, Gonzalez, and Paulson in the 7th inning. Aroldis Vizcaíno is the new pitcher for Atlanta.
Came over from the Cubs in a trade in 2014. Started the year on the suspended list, made a season debut on the 7th at Milwaukee.
One out on the ground ball to third. The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. So I have a question. The game ended after midnight last night. So does that count for today or for tomorrow?
I think technically it'd count for today.
I think for today. And hopefully they have tomorrow also.
Yeah, but you get this one today, and then you'll have it tomorrow.
That's right. Perfect. What's better than a late night snack from Papa John's on the weekend? Cargo did not swing, according to Mark Ripperger.
He did one when I got home last night after the rain delay.
Did you eat last night at one?
Just had a little snack.
P-I-G-P. I went right to Betty Bye.
When I thought Walt's decision today to tell the players to stay away until 4 o'clock. They didn't have to report until then. There was going to be no batting practice out on the field, with the smartest things he could have done.
Well, you know, back-to-back nights where you were playing after midnight. It's in there for a strike. It's 1-2 on Cargo.
Well, the Braves didn't hit on the field either. So Mark Razum and his crew, they were out here and scraping off and that diamond dry.
Field looks beautiful.
Always does.
Five runs, 11 hits for the Rockies. 3 runs, 6 hits for Atlanta. And this is a high fly ball to deep right center field. Actually more towards center. Nathan makes the catch.
Well, the first 10,000 fans through the gates tomorrow will receive a camping blanket courtesy of Jeep. So the first 10,000 fans tomorrow. And reminder, it's a 2 o'clock ball game tomorrow, Drew. Okay?
2 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
I will be here.
Well, I was just reminding you.
Well, I appreciate that because a lot of times Saturday they're evening ball games.
Right, and that's why I was telling you.
Would not be good to show up and the game already be underway.
Say, wait a second, I thought it was at 6 o'clock because that's when Saturdays are. Nope, 2 o'clock.
Ben Paulson 1 for 3. Hit a roller down the third base line that contacted the bag at third. Crowds reacted a little bit because way off in the distance, folks, way off in the distance, there's a couple of lightning strikes. Remember, would not be Rockies baseball 2015 without either rain or lightning strikes that are visible for everybody to see here.
They've had 5 delays this year of over 2 hours. Last night was 2 hours and 6 minutes. But in all those games and delays are 8 and 6 on the season. The 14 home delays, I should say.
So they've hung in there, 2-2. Well, tonight is the 43rd home game. In the first 42 games, there were 14 games that had a rain delay in it. So a third of the time They've had to pull that tarp out when we should be playing baseball. That is how strange this year has been weather-wise. 3-2 on Paulson with 2 outs in the 7th. Outside, ball 4. So a good AB for Ben. Give Nick Huntley an opportunity to hit here in the 7th.
It is a gorgeous sunset.
Absolutely. Nick's 1 for 3. And Nick's 2 for 4. Paulson's going to go to first and third on this.
Nick came into the game second among major league catchers with a .303 average. He was first in the National League, and it will go up. He's now at .306 after the base hit to right field. 2 for 4 on the evening. Inside out swing over the head of Jace Peterson. Now another chance for Daniel to drive in his 2nd run tonight.
RBI triple in the 4th for Descalso. Yeah, the Cal Davis product takes a strike, so it's 1-1. This one up to shallow right. Markakis comes under control and makes the catch. So there's a walk and a hit, 2 men left on. We turn the page to inning number 8. Rockies leading the Braves 5-3.
Rockies up 5-3. We're going to wrap up this Fan Friday. We're talking about All-Star games. Got my DJ LeMahieu shirt on for next Tuesday. We're going to wrap it up with this tweet. Dean, what about Larry Walker? Righty after one pitch from Randy Johnson. Let's show that to you, Dean. We go back to 1997. Jacobs Field. And there's the big unit in his Seattle gear. Throws it over Larry's head. Yep, he's going to head to the other side of the batter's box. Swing right-handed against a guy that he knows because they were together in Montreal. And then Randy, and everybody gets a kick out of that. Laughs all around. He threw to Walker and eventually draw a walk in the second inning of this game. And Jeff, I know that I told the story the other day about how you and the big unit are pretty close from your days in Montreal.
Well, yeah, I mean, we roomed together on our second road trip in the big leagues in New York. And, you know, Randy back then was as wild could be. And it wasn't until a meeting with Nolan when he was with Seattle that kind of really changed his career and, you know, put him in, I don't want to say put him in the Hall of Fame because Randy did that on his own, but it helped the process.
Just want to wrap up Fan Friday. Thanks everybody for your tweets today. We'll do it again when the Rockies come back from the All-Star break at @RootSports_RM. Always engage with us on social media. Thanks everybody.
All right, Mark, thank you. Jace Peterson at the plate against Boone Logan. And after the first pitch misses, that one does not. So it's a 1-1 count. Boone working here in the 8th inning. It's Peterson, Maben, Markakis, the top 3 in the lineup for Atlanta. 2 of the 3 are left-handed.
And if it got to that 4th, he's also left-handed. Saw the numbers for Boone against lefties, 150. 2/3 of an inning last night. And a couple punch-outs, just 11 pitches thrown.
We're talking all about all-star games and Rockies being represented. Christian Adames is going to represent the Isotopes in the AAA All-Star game. Kyle Parker had 4 hits last night.
Yes, he did. Trevor Story in the Futures All-Star game.
Yeah. Well,
that was always
Raymond
fun.
Tapia had 4 hits last night for Modesto, and he's going to be in the Futures game.
What's a tip of the cap to the kids, the organization, everybody, when you are selected to those All-Star games, because those are voted on by the managers of that league. They get a chance to see you play, and they know, kind of who is deserving.
Tapia, scouts would say, is real toolsy. Lanky kid who can hit with power, runs well, throw. Two, just missed. 3-2 on Jace Peterson. Jace Peterson, a 3-sport star, growing up in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Went on to McNeese State. Strike 3.
Didn't see that slider at McNeese State.
Probably not.
Well, the first 10,000 fans through the gates on Friday, July 24th, will receive a Charlie Blackmon bobblehead. It's courtesy of 850 KOA Rockies Radio and Country Financial.
Kind of surprised it has a beard.
Just must have ordered him a couple months ago then.
Yeah. Maben had a base hit his last time up. Cameron now has a 10-game hitting streak, matching the longest of his career.
Go back to the strikeout of Jace Peterson. The low 3/4 delivery out of the hand on the Subaru Supermo. Get off to the side. You see the red dot on the baseball. It tells you it was a slider. She tried to sell it like it wasn't a strike. It was. Another one. I'm just going to ignore that thunder I heard in the background, Drew.
Well, that's what it is. It's in the background. We can get through one game without a rain delay, can't we?
I think so. Tonight's the night.
Maben with 8 home runs was in a tie for the team lead with Kelly Johnson, but Johnson had the 3-run home run earlier. So Kelly now has 9 home runs. They don't have a player with double-digit homers.
That's active because Freddie Freeman has 12, but he's on the DL.
That's active, exactly.
Yeah, that's active. Freddie's missed 20 games. The Braves are 10-10 in those games.
They hope to get him back before August 1st. Originally, they hoped he was going to be doing baseball activities later on this week, and they felt like they probably got to push that back a little bit.
Prior to the injury, Freddie had played in 243 consecutive games.
He had the longest stretch going. 3-2, and all the way back, Boone Logan down 3-0, comes back and strikes out Maven for the second out in the 8th. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag RMDataStrongFan, and you might get yourself in an upcoming game broadcast here on Root Sports, and it again is brought to you by T-Mobile. Nick Markakis 0 for 2, and he was hit by a pitch. He was robbed of a single back in the 4th inning on a terrific play by DJ LeMahieu going to his left.
There's a lot of history between these two, with Boone pitching for the White Sox, Nick with the Orioles. 6 for 16 is Markakis, .375 average against Boone.
And it's going to go up a little bit. That's 97 hits for Nick Markakis this year. It's the most hits in the game without a home run. And you wouldn't think that for a guy that's averaged in his career 17 home runs a game, his career high 23. He played on the Greek Olympic team a few years back.
That's right. Just wonder how much that neck surgery, what he had, an infusion in his neck.
He did.
Has affected the power.
Well, Steve Foster's going to go out because Kelly Johnson in the 6th inning, left on left against Aaron Laffey, hit an opposite field home run. And he represents the tying run right now.
This was the home run back in the 6th inning off of Laffey. That ended up about 7 feet over the wall for Kelly Johnson. His 9th home run and his 32nd RBI.
Two outs, 1 on, and that pitch is in there for a strike. 84-mile-an-hour slider from Boone Logan. Top of the 8th inning. And the fastball missed the inside corner. See, earlier today, A-Rod hit a home run at Fenway. It was his 55th career home run at Fenway. That's a base hit.
A lot of them in his career. There's another base hit for Kelly Johnson. That early in his career, he struggled left on left, but tonight, left-handers he's faced, he's hit it pretty well. I'm just looking to see if they might go to Tommy to finish off this 8th inning. It's Chris Johnson, whose numbers are better against lefties than they are right-handers.
Yeah, here comes Walt. So Logan struck out Peterson and Maben. In fact, he was down 3-0 against Maben, came back and struck him out. But Markakis and Johnson, two lefties, get sharp singles against Boone, and Tommy Kahnle will come on, looking for that final out in the 8th inning. Rockies leading Atlanta 5-3, game 2 of a 4-game set before the All-Star break. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Mike Shaw Subaru, always our lowest price and sales and service guaranteed. Times of pretty views from Coors Field tonight. Big Troy Tulowitzki fan. Troy watching this one from the dugout, taking a day off. He'll be back out there tomorrow afternoon. Tommy Kahnle comes aboard here in the 8th inning. His assignment will be to get Chris Johnson with 2 on and 2 outs.
Chris Johnson 0 for 2 career against Tommy Kahnle. Righty's hitting a mere 108. Only threw an inning of work in last night's affair. 1 strikeout, 14 pitches, 9 for strikes.
Now opponents talking as much about Tommy's big arm. They're talking as much about his changeup as the big arm. And Tommy will run it up 97, 98 miles an hour, but the changeup has become the great equalizer. I mean, he has tremendous command of that changeup, and it's a devastating change. He goes fastball there. At 96, it's fouled off. 0-1.
Because you don't know when he's going to throw it. Some guys will fall in the pattern. They'll only throw it when they're ahead or behind in the count. With Tommy, you're not sure, because that's the pitch he's been commanding lately. Also looking at the numbers for Chris Johnson. He's 10 for 61 against right-handed pitchers, 164.
And that's a strike.
Seeing 89, what's that? That was his changeup.
Two on Chris Johnson. Fastball. How did he lay off that?
Tommy hit his spot. Watch where Nick sets up. He wants it. Remember, like the old pictures of Yogi Berra, not quite that high, but throw it up here. But it was enticing enough out of the hand where the hitter had to think, man, is this going to be a strike? Should I take it?
You go there again, he's swinging. There's no way he'd take that.
Or bury one down in the dirt. I mean, there's a couple different options that you had. And it's still in play after that last pitch.
Missed at 98. That ball moved away from Chris Johnson. It's 2-2. Markakis is at second. He singled. Kelly Johnson at first. He singled. 8th inning, Rockies up by 2. 2-2. He's got him. Tommy Kahnle puts down Chris Johnson. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Rockies +2 on the scoreboard at Coors Field. Fireworks night at Coors Field, and the Rockies in the bottom of the 8th inning leading the Braves 5-3. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Mark Stout, Brandon Barnes in the 8th inning will lead things off, and then we'll have a pinch hitter against David Carpenter. Carpenter through the 7th inning last night. Rockies didn't score against him, did have a couple of hits against Carpenter.
Made his Braves debut in Milwaukee earlier this week.
The Braves have used, we discussed this yesterday, 49 players already. That's 11 more than they used all of last year. Their team record is 50, and we have a half a season to go. Freddie Gonzalez has done a lot of introductions. Okay, your name is what?
Is it too late to take the over?
No, I think.
Or is it the it's not even available anymore?
No, it's a done deal, especially when you get to September and you have call-ups.
Sure.
2-0 on Barnes. Brandon, a couple hits tonight, and also a line out. This is a towering fly ball to Maben. Who Wants Tacos? Fans follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special, and the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Drew Stubbs was in the on-deck circle, and after Barnes made it out, Drew was called back, and Willeen Rosario is going to swing the bat here.
Trying to go for that big fly, one swing of the bat to get you back up to 3 runs. Lead 6 for 17, pinch hitting a home run, 3 RBIs.
John Axford getting ready in the Rockies bullpen. It'll be Pierzynski, Gomes, and Simmons, the scheduled 3 for Atlanta in the 9th. Shelby Miller, the All-Star, the lone All-Star for Atlanta, started tonight, and the Rockies got 5 runs off him on 11 hits in just 5 innings. Shelby Miller, a reserve with the National Leaguers. The last time the Braves had only one All-Star was 2009 when Brian McCann was their only representative. 1-2.
5 earned runs for Shelby Miller also was his season high. He gave up 5 runs, but only 4 earned in his last start against Philly.
Cargo took him deep. Just the 6th home run he's allowed this year.
Excuse me, Washington 2 starts ago.
This is going to be close, and the catch is made. Nicely done. Chris Johnson laid over the target. Not quite Arenado-esque, but not bad.
Well, he didn't have as far to run. He wasn't trying to run and catch it over his shoulder. Here's going over towards the tarp. You take a quick peek, and then you reach out with your right hand to brace yourself. Simmons jumps up on top of the tarp.
Look at that little guy with the hat. I love it. Chris, you just robbed me. I was going to make a catch.
I had it.
That's awesome. He wasn't afraid.
No, he's right in there.
Two outs. Charlie's at the plate. Charlie's had a big night. 2 for 3, single and a triple, also a walk. He has a couple of stolen bases. Regular day at the office with Charlie Blackmon, the Georgia native. Charlie makes his offseason home back in Atlanta. Asked some of the guys who live in Atlanta if they work out with any of the Braves, and some guys have moved on, but there is some overlapping. Guys working out in the same gym.
I always found that to be helpful. To push each other. Everybody is in there, kind of knows the routines and what their goal is. A common goal.
Carpenter strikes out Blackmon. So it's a 1-2-3 8th inning for Carpenter. We will move to inning number 9. Rockies 5, Braves 3. John Axford looking for 3 more outs. Making his first start in a Rockies uniform. It's an emergency appearance. He's really a reliever. He goes 3 spotless innings and set the tone for the Rockies as Colorado would get after Shelby Miller offensively. So the Rockies debuted for Gonzalez Hermet, big league time with the Cubs this year and the last couple of years with the Mets. So John Axford completing his warm-up pitches. John looking to save another ball game. Saved the Rockies victory last night, his 15th save of the year. So Rockies won 5-3 last night. They're going to make it 2 straight with the same score.
Yeah, 15 out of 16 in save opportunities last night. 1 inning, couple of punch outs. The lone blemish was the throwing error on himself. Hit the ball high to first base. Then didn't worry about it. Got a line-out strikeout to end the game. Rockies were shaking hands.
Well, coming up immediately following John Axford producing this save, we'll have the Toyota post-game show. Jenny and Spilly. And they're going to kick us out of the booth. They have to do it in here tonight because of the fireworks setup that always takes place out beyond center field. Crowd was just announced, second sellout of the year, 48,254 jammed into Coors Field this evening. A.J. Pierzynski will lead things off for the Braves. Pretty night. So here's Axford. He's ready to go, and the fastball's lined into the seats foul, a 97-mile-an-hour heater.
Saw a few of those last night from John. 96 and 97. A.J. 0 for 1 career against John.
This is a big bouncer, but fortunately Pierzynski's running. Little Baltimore chop here in Denver. 1 out. Let's check our CenturyLink link to what's next. Pitching matchup tomorrow. Jorge's got the baseball against Matt Whistler, the former top prospect of the San Diego Padres. De La ready to go tomorrow afternoon. We're on the air with the pregame show at 1:30. Baseball about 30 minutes later or so. Johnny Gomes at the plate. Johnny 1 for 2 and a walk. Well, they just announced to the crowd that there's going to be a slight delay with the fireworks because of, I chuckle, because of lightning and rain in the area. Well, even if it doesn't delay the game, it's going to delay fireworks. What a year.
Yep, but let's just finish this off before it starts.
Yep. 1 ball, 1 strike on Gomes. It's a bouncer up the middle. DJ backhand side. What a throw. DJ LeMahieu. 2 outs in the 9th. He finished that play. He was in short left field.
Right over the pitcher's head. You're thinking there's no way that DJ's going to make the play, but he has enough arm strength to make it. We're going to stop it when he catches this ball, and so he catches it. Right here, he's not even looking. I mean, his momentum's going towards third base. And then have to get your body turned and then not even skip the ball over there.
And one of the things that helps him is that DJ, a natural shortstop, he's got left side of the infield arm strength.
And once you catch the ball and you're knowing you're going so far away, you really have to think about twisting those hips in your back to make sure that arm comes through. You know the ball's going to fade on you, so you got to start it more in the outfield.
Andrelton Simmons pops up the bunt, and that's the ball game. Grabbed by Axford. He works a 1-2-3 9th for his 16th save, and the Rockies win again by the save scores last night, 5-3. Except it didn't take till after midnight to go shake hands. A very fine night all around for the Rockies. They had to do it by committee with their bullpen, and they beat one of the top pitchers in baseball this year, Shelby Miller. Miller falls to 5-5 on the season, 16th save for John Axford. And we have to wait to hear who gets the victory. You may have to find that out in the Toyota postgame show. Rockies win it 5-3. They've taken the first 2 of this 4-game set with the Atlanta Braves. Coming up next, the Toyota postgame show from a sold-out Coors Field.